You remember in the last module when we were working with the assembly, we wrote a program called password.nazm in which we would ask the user to enter his password and check it with the password of our program. If it was right, we would print something to the user that the password was correct and exit out of the program. And if it was wrong, well, we would tell the user that it is wrong and you should enter your password again. Now we want to implement something like this in C. This was the assembly code that you see. It is a lot of different lines. We want to write something similar but in C. So I say nano and create a file with the name of password.c. We include the stdio.h and also we include another library called string.h, which we want to use some of the functionalities in this file that we would tell you in the rest of this lecture. And then we say int main and return 0. So first of all, we want to write our password. I create a char pointer with the name of p, which would be equal to mgh123. I want this to be the password of the program. We actually chose the password of 1 2 3 4 5 in the assembly. It doesn't make any difference. Now I would create another pointer. Let's name it a, and then we want to print something for the user that enter your password. And after that we want to get the user input. So I say scanf. I want to save it as a string inside the a pointer, or the a pointer would point to whatever the user is entering. After that I want to say if the p and a are equal, which means that what the user has entered is equivalent to our password, which is mgh123, then I want to tell the user that the password is correct. So we can't just say a is equal to p because, well, this would be just the first word, right? We need a functionality that checks the two strings. Well, this functionality or this function has been defined in the string.h library, which compares two strings. The name is strcmp, which compares the string of a and p in here, the string that the a is pointing to and the string that p is pointing to. But if it is right, it would return the value of 0. So it would say if strcmp of a and p is equal to 0, then I want you to print again, printf, that your password is correct. That's it. And well, if it is not, we want to return, but right now I want to check it if it is right. So I press Ctrl O, hit enter, exit, use GCC to compile it, and now execute our program. Enter your password, let's say mgh123, and hit enter. It says your password is correct. I also want to just pass a \n, but not for this. So save it again, compile it, and execute it. This time I want to enter something wrong. So any password and hit enter. As you see, it just exits. But I don't want that it exit out of the program. I want it to just ask the user to enter his password again, like the thing that we did in the assembly. So I enter the file and create a while loop in here. So I say while 1, which means while true, then I would want all these things to get executed, but in here I want to say else, which means if the password is not correct, I want to say continue, which the while loop would be repeated and it would get back to the beginning of the loop. Also, in the if, after the correction of the password checking has been proven, I want to break out of the loop. So again, we create a password, a pointer which points to this password. We create another pointer which points to whatever the user is entering as a string. Then we tell the user, enter your password. We compare it. If it is right, which would cause the output of the strcmp, the return of it, to be equal to 0, it would print that your password is correct and break out of the loop, and we exit out of the program, which would return the 0. If it is not right, we want the loop to be repeated. So I press Ctrl O, hit enter, exit, compile it and execute it. Enter your password, something wrong, enter again, some number, enter again, you see. Now I want to press the right password, mgh123, or no, not the right password, I want to say mgh1234 to see if some of the words are similar, and as you see, it is still doesn't recognize it as the correct password. mgh123, hit enter, and as you see, your password is correct, and we got out of the program. So you see, in the C program, with these lines we were able to implement this, while in the assembly it was much harder to implement such a thing. But now let's say that we don't like the strcmp in here, and actually we don't realize that there is such a function in the string.h library, and instead, or we don't just trust it enough, so we want to implement our own function for comparing two strings instead of using the strcmp. In the next lecture, we are going to implement such a functionality.